This is the Next Wave Show, an avenue for growth and glow.
Without wasting much time, let's get started. I said today we'll be talking about innovation. Under the aspect of innovation, we are going to talk about startup success stories. Startup success stories. That's what we are going to talk about today. Now, startup success stories are the tales, they're just the tales of entrepreneurs who have who have successfully founded businesses and often have overcome some challenges and are learning valuable lessons along the way. So these startup stories are the stories or tales of big businessmen who wanted to start up businesses, or entrepreneurs who made it in life. And we look at their story, the story of their life, the story of their company, and all the challenges that they faced and how they overcame it, and the lessons they learned, the valuable lessons they learned along the way that made them prime, that made them where they are today. I mean, everyone is capable of becoming a great person, and so that is why I've outlined these things, so we learn from their mistakes, take some word of advice from them, and make our lives better. These stories are often inspiring and they guide and motivate for others who are yet to start the journey of. Thank you for staying with me on the Next Wave Show. So this is actually all about innovations. This whole thing is all about innovations, and you get to know that we are dealing with startup success stories, and we started with an amazing company that we call Oyo. We started with an amazing company that we call Oyo, and I went on to explain what startup stories are, and I said these are stories and they are tales of entrepreneurs who have founded businesses and often have overcome challenges and are learning valuable lessons along the way. And you get to realize that the main motive of the Next Wave Show is to pick valuable things from the older generation to improve on this generation, in as much as we are forming our own path. In as much as we are forming our own path, or in as much as we are learning from them, we have to form our own path. And I said we started with Oyo, a hotel and hospitality platform, and I gave you some aspects of Oyo that you should know. I said Oyo is a global hospitality platform that offers affordable lodging options. Also, Oyo Rooms makes an average of 56.6 million US dollars every month and has over 3,000 plus employees in 800 cities across 80 countries. And the founder for this amazing Oyo company is Ritesh Agarwal, who is the founder of Oyo, and he became the world's youngest self-made billionaire at the age of 25. And Oyo is the third largest hotel chain globally, and also it has evolved to become globally accepted as of 2019. But before we delve into Oyo, we look into the life of Ritesh Agarwal, who is the founder of Oyo. We get to know that Ritesh Agarwal was born in Bisamkuta, a town of Odisha state in India. Odisha is a state in India, and was brought up in Titilaga. And he started his business career at the age of 17. At the age of 17, he had this kind of business idea in his head, and he eventually came up with the idea of Oyo, and he is the first resident Asian to be awarded the TEL Fellowship. He became the world's youngest billionaire in 2020. And I'll go on to mention the meaning of Oyo means on your own. And so one fascinating thing you need to know about the life of this young man, is that he was a college dropout and always had the intention to start something on his own. And so in 2011, when he was in his teens, 17 years, he came up with something called the Oracle Stays, which in 2013 became Oyo's Homes and Hotels. And he schooled in Sacred Heart in Radaga and was obsessed with computers and things relating to coding and programming. And so in 2009, he left for Kota, a town obviously, to get enrolled in one of the top IT colleges. But he got to realize that Kota wasn't actually the suitable place for him to learn his coding and programming aspects. So he gave up that dream and later started working on a book which he titled India's Engineering Colleges, a complete encyclopedia of top 100 colleges. He was incredible. I mean, at the age of 20, he was among 20 students who were all on the age of 20 to receive the TEL Fellowship sum, and he received a sum of about 100,000 US dollars and for over 2 years, and as well as opportunity and guidance as well as resources, and this gave him a basis to drop out of college to start this amazing startup. He was someone who traveled a lot. Ritesh Agarwal was someone who traveled a lot, so he got to realize the poor condition of hotels which he lodged in. He got to realize that there are poor performances in their aspect of hospitality and the aspect of conditions as well as the staff. Everything was so poor, and he got to realize that people don't get the quality treatment they are supposed to get as individuals lodging in a hotel, and this motivated him to start as something that would go a long way to become a major hit in the world market. And so in 2011 he came up with Oracle Stays, which was then inspired by the Airbnb's model, and then in 2013 it was launched as Oyo Hotels and Homes and became an affordable standardized hotel. His success didn't just come up overnight. He went through rough patches. The COVID outbreak was also a thing, so Oyo went out to acquire rooms in hotels across the country and transform those rooms into Oyo. And after 2013, after Oyo had grown in 2013, which took about 8 years to its establishment, or 8 years of its establishment, it began to operate in 800 cities in more than 80 countries in the world. And you got to know that the company started going international in 2018, starting with Malaysia, starting with the UK, the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, China, Singapore, Indonesia, amongst others. And it recorded a global stayed room night of 75 million in 2018 and attained a revenue of $211 million as of that time. And in 2019, the revenue that was 211 million shot up to 951 million US dollars. Like I said, things didn't just come easy. He was faced with so much stuff. I told you that the company faced fraud challenges. But before that, I said we move to the funding aspect. I mean, a 17-year-old boy who wants to start up a company, where would he get the money from? This is how he got the money from. And when you look at the story, as I said earlier on, I said he started with 100,000 US dollars under the Thiel Fellowship that he had in 2014, and he raised RS4 Core from Lightspeed Venture Program, LSVP, and DSG, that is the DSG Consumer Partners, at a pre-money valuation. And in 2015, in March, he received a funding of $25 million from his investors, namely Lightspeed India, Sequoia, and others. In the same year, Oyo also received a whopping amount of $100 million in a Series C round of funding from the most prominent and powerful investor in the world, the Japanese investor SoftBank. Combine these two together in a particular year, people invested in the company, and for that particular year, which was 2015, he received a funding of 125 million US dollars. And in September 2018, Oyo got itself listed among the unicorn companies after it raised an amount of 800 million from SoftBank. In 2019 Oyo raised a total amount of 807 million US dollars from Ritesh Agarwal's led RA Hospitality Holdings and SoftBank in Series F funding. Apart from this, Oyo backed funds from Airbnb, its motivator and inspirer, and also the latest funding that Oyo has laid hands or has bagged is from Microsoft, which was in 2021, which was $5 million. So you see, folks, everything about Ritesh Agarwal didn't just come easy. Now today, when you talk about Oyo is one of the top leading companies that provide affordable and amazing homes for people out there. So if you have a budget, trust me, you could easily get a place, you could easily get a room to stay with quality food, quality treatment, quality stuff. Everything begins with a process. He passed through a process, and I believe the story of Ritesh Agarwal, a 17-year-old boy with a dream, a university dropout who had a big dream, someone who traveled a lot, and he made it to the top. So any individual in this generation, and he made history to become the second youngest billionaire ever. At the age of 25, you get to realize that everything is possible so far as you put your mind to that particular thing. So these startup stories are the stories or tales of big businessmen who wanted to start up businesses, or entrepreneurs who made it in life. And we look at their story, the story of their life, the story of their company, and all the challenges that they faced and how they overcame it, and the lessons they learned, the valuable lessons they learned along the way that made them prime, that made them where they are today. I mean, everyone is capable of becoming a great person, and so that is why I've outlined these things, so we learn from their mistakes, take some word of advice from them, and make our lives better. These stories are often inspiring, and they guide and motivate for others who are yet to start the journey of entrepreneurship.
This is the Next Wave Show, and this is how we go.